There comes a point where life should be about more than just survival. You should be living. You should be establishing yourself. There comes a point in time where you have to establish yourself. And this is what David does in 2 Samuel 8. So David is not no longer just about survival. He's no longer just about protecting the borders of Israel from enemies, but now he's going outside of Israel so that he can establish his kingdom. And the first way he does this is he defeats the Philistines and he subdued them. He took over Metheg Amma from the control of the Philistines. And the reason he took over Metheg Amma is because now he's making the Philistines a subdued nation. He's making them subject to Israel. And by taking Metheg Amma, which was their administrative center, he's taking over administratively of that region. So a subject nation would generally lose their sovereignty. They were able to keep their local king. However, they were no longer free. They can no longer make treaties with other nations, and they wouldn't be able to go to war unless they got permission from the nation who has subdued them. So they're becoming servants to Israel and to David. Being a subject nation means that you're in a treaty, you're in a vassal treaty between your nation and the nation who's subduing you. So that means if you ever rebelled, then you are in violation of that treaty. And a breach of treaty means that it's punishable by total destruction. So David comes from fighting off the Philistines, always trying to keep them from coming to Israel, from entering the borders into Israel. And now he's going into the Philistines nation. Now he's playing opposition. Instead of always playing defense, instead of always being on the defensive, now he's the one going into the land of the Philistines and taking control of their administrative center. And we know that the Philistines, they were a nuisance to Israel. They were literally raiding Israel. They were coming against Israel from left to right. They were one of Israel's greatest enemies. And so by going into their land and by taking over their administrative center, David is preventing the Philistines from having power and resources. So now they can no longer come against the Israelites. They can no longer try to battle the Israelites because they don't have access to their own administrative center. They are no longer in control of themselves. David is now in control of them. And there's a time for everything. There's a time to be on the defense. There's a time where you need to defend what's rightfully yours. But there's also a time that is no longer enough just to defend yourself, that you need to go on opposition and you need to go claim what's yours. The same way that the Philistines kept coming into the land of the Israelites and trying to intimidate them and trying to steal from them and raiding them is the same way that David is now going into the land of the Philistines and taking their stuff and putting them under his control, because your enemies will be your footstool. God can make it so that people who hate you, God can make it so that your enemies, God can make it so that the enemy will eat from the palm of your hands, that they are subject to you, that you are in control of what they do, when they come in, when they go out. So don't get too comfortable always playing defense. Sometimes you have to get up and play offense. Sometimes you have to get up and go and do the very thing they've done to you. They come in your land trying to raid your land. Now you go into their land and you do the same.